I've been reading out of this book. It is a book I got years ago. So got rid of it because I gave it to friends and I had to get it again. It is what the holy souls who have appeared to Maria Simma in Eastern Europe said to her. She has her bishop's approval. This is an interview from Nikki Eltz. This part, I am talking about what holy souls in purgatory when visiting her said today about the saints. Nikki asks, do any saints play important roles for the poor souls? Saint Joseph can help us greatly in avoiding purgatory entirely, and we should often ask our favorite saints to pray a lot for our loved ones in purgatory. The saints' prayers for them assist them a great deal. And officially, the patron saint of the poor souls is Saint Nicholas of Tolentino, officially. Do the poor souls ever mention the saints? No, so far they haven't mentioned them in any specific way to me, but they do mention the angels and most especially Saint Michael, who's so very important. How would you respond to Christians who question the importance of the saints? Ignoring them is a great loss. By reading about them, our faith is greatly strengthened. I promise you, many of their stories make contemporary writings in any media seem pathetic. God has put saints into the man's history with good reason. And praying for their intercession on our behalf or that of others is also very necessary and fruitful. With them, we then have very strong advocates in front of the throne of God. Are there saints alive today? Oh, very many. In times as sinful, dangerous, and volatile as these, God's graces abound, and that results in many saints. They rarely make the headlines because, for the most part, they remain hidden until they too have gone to heaven. This is because, for the greatest part, it is their humility and obedience that makes them saints, and the humble will never want to be seen or heard. As we all know so well, bad news travels fast and is sold for a lot of money. Good news travels far more slowly and does not keep the media going. It does not sell papers. Who would you consider as being a saint in this century? Padre Pio, Pope John Paul I, who was murdered for his goodness and for his recognizing Satan among the Freemasons, who have strongly penetrated the walls of the Vatican. Again, there's a footnote about that in the back of the book, so you can get the book and read it. Then Maximilian Kolbe and the other more recent Polish priest. What was his name? The one who was tortured, tied up with a wire, and drowned by the secret police? Popjushko? Just read that book, powerful story. Something like that. He has appeared standing next to Jesus and dressed in martyr's colors of red and white. I could come up with more, but I know that some of the greatest are still among us, yet hidden and protected. For instance, in northern Italy, there's a priest where the sisters had to close the windows high up in the church before his masses. Do you know why? Because during the consecration, he was in such a deep ecstasy and so very close to Jesus that he lifted off the ground and floated upward. The sisters didn't want to lose him. Soon his bishop stopped his masses in public because they very understandably caused a commotion among the people. Just imagine how he must suffer here with the world as it is today. What fanciful labels would non-believing psychiatrists attach to him? That I'd like to know. Yes, there are certainly very many saints today, but understandably, the church has to be very careful and discerning in dealing with them. And therefore, the process for their potential beatification may only begin once they too have gone their heavenly way. What are the greatest misconceptions that people have today about saints? Misconceptions? I feel like the most common one is for people to think that they think and say that those others have received graces that they have not. And so they cannot be as holy as those others either. To say, thank God I wasn't chosen to become a saint is putting the cart in front of the horse and is a weak excuse. Had the ones who say such things acted as well as those others, then they too would have reached more and greater graces. God's justice lies deeply in the fact that every one of us is given the same opportunity to become holy. Do saints get angry? Oh, yes, certainly they do. And most especially when they sense, hear, or see acts against honoring God or against honoring love, no matter what the circumstances. Feeling anger and being angry is not a sin, but what one does when angry is what gets weighed carefully. But righteous anger is definitely permitted and in God's will. Wasn't Jesus himself angry when he chased the merchants from the temple? He most certainly was. And he still is today when people make money from a holy place or situation. Knowing, of course, that all saints are entirely different, what, in your opinion, are the most common personality traits among saints, other than humility? Loving all people, no matter who they are. Seeing good in everyone, no matter who they are. Forgiveness toward anybody and readiness to do anything for God and any of his people, no matter how difficult it might seem to be. I would also include that saints always seem to have an especially deep respect and love for the very young, as well as for the very old. Do you feel that you personally have met some saints? Yes, I do. A woman down there in the valley, for instance, in the town of Schniffis, was one such person. She was bedridden for a very long time with crippled legs, and I think in constant terrible pain. Every time I visited her, she was beaming, and I finally asked her how she could be so joyful all the time. Her answer was that she knew that she was saving so many souls for God, and that she saw it as a privilege to be permitted to do it for him. She, I think, was a true saint. Would you tell me the names of some living saints you know? No, that would bring them unnecessary suffering and also endanger and weaken their deep humility. I love reading this stuff. I want to be a saint. I want to be holy, and I certainly want to get people out of purgatory. I hope this book is helping give you some insights or motivation to do the same. Please pray for your relatives, and if you feel compelled, pray for mine, the Bacon and the Block family, because my relatives and yours really do hope that you get them out of there. I'm Dr. Christine Bacon. Thanks for watching another informational Bacon Bit, and as always, remember to live your life sunny side up.